It's finally here, Project Black Flag Playtest Packet number 2, and number 1 is in my list somewhere. We're gonna make a shorter video on this because much of it is just 5e. The first new thing that strikes me is luck. Of course, we have the lucky feat in D&D, but here it says every PC has a special resource called luck, which can be used to influence the result of any ability check, attack roll, or save you make. A PC with luck points can spend them as a 1-for-1 bonus to any d20 roll they make. For example, if you have 4 luck points and roll a 13 on the die, you could choose to expend 2 luck points and make your roll result a 15. You can choose to spend your luck points in this way after you make a roll, but before the GM declares whether you succeeded or failed. Luck points can't be spent in this way to onset the effects of rolling a nat 1, and they can't be used to create nat 20s. Alternatively, immediately after you roll for an attack, for example, you can spend 3 luck points to re-roll a d20 used for that roll. So I guess that means you roll a d20 and you're a bit underwhelmed, and you'll say, I'll bump it up 3 points, I've got 3 luck points to spend. Now this is very Call of Cthulhu, where you have a luck pool and you can influence the roll to meet the DC you're trying to aim for, and it's a very risk-reward situation. I'm not sure what the community will think of that, because what you roll is what you roll. You've already got your modifiers. Luck can be very unwelcome at many tables. It's like, you rolled a 10. Yeah, but somehow I didn't. Somehow I rolled 15. It's like, no, you rolled a 10. It depends where you fall. Gaining luck points. You start with none. Over the course of your adventures, you gain luck points the following way. When you fail an attack or save, you gain a luck point. Every time you fail? Surely not every time you fail. The GM can choose to award a luck point as a reward. That's just like inspiration, when the DM gives you a free reroll, instead they give you a luck point. It can also be awarded for surviving difficult encounters. Again, it's a reward when the DM or GM chooses. You can only have 5 at a time. Good that it's got a limit. If you would gain a 6th one, so when you have 5, you immediately roll a d4 and reset their luck points to the die result. So you could have 5, about to get a 6th, which doesn't exist, and then you roll a 1, you're down to 1 again. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. If you're giving the players them, you just let them burn them, surely. You don't rob them of them. Character classes. The classes are like their jobs. Your progression table as 5e, the way that you gain as you play. The next noticeable thing here, class options at a glance. The fighter, under key ability, can actually choose whether it's got strength or dex. Some people want to be a dex fighter, monks and stuff, but it's specifically fighter class here. It's like, do you want to be strong like a bull, or do you want to be flexible like a ninja? Looking down, the fighter then. Fighter quick build. Yeah, make strength your highest or make dex your highest. If you plan to take the spell blade subclass, so is that like an Eldritch Knight? Is that the fighter magic one? Magical fighter. Starting equipment seems fairly standard. This is a first level fighter feature. When you take damage that would reduce your health points to an amount less than half your max, you can use one of your hit die to heal up. You can only spend hit dice up to your proficiency bonus, which at this level will be 2. The first few levels you'll only have 2 hit dice to burn in this fashion. Does that mean then, well, that means they're spent then. You can either, it's like a short rest, you burn them on short rests, you hit die, to heal. But this seems to be, at any old time, in the middle of combat, you suddenly heal, which makes you much more combat hardened if you can heal in a combat. But it is a feature. Yeah, plus you add your constitution modifier to it. The fighter progression, so yeah, as we see, the proficiency bonus is 2 and then goes up to 3 at 5th. Multi-attack, which was basically extra attack. Martial action. Choose one of the following martial actions. As a bonus, and I think these are all bonus actions as far as I could work out. You can use aim. If you make a ranged attack, you double your proficiency bonus for the first attack. Quick strike is the same but melee weapon, so you add your proficiency bonus. Guard. As a bonus action, raise your shield. The target has disadvantage on you, so it's like a dodge for a bonus action, which is good. Quick strike, wielding 2 weapons. Your bonus action can make a weapon attack with a light melee weapon. You add your ability modifier to the damage, as you would with a normal weapon. If the light melee weapon has the thrown property, you can throw it as well. Wind up. As a bonus action, you take the time to increase the effectiveness. Select a target within 5 feet. Double your proficiency for the first attack roll. Action Surge. You can activate this feature to gain an additional action. Pretty standard fighter. Discipline. Choose one of the disciplines coming up later. When you reach 4th level and 8th, you can improve an ability score by 1 and choose a talent. And multi-attack at level 5. Disciplines, as mentioned, Spellblade Discipline. For you, the arcane can be picked up and wielded as if it were a weapon. And honing your mind is just as important as honing your body. Arcane Spellcasting, the Spellblade feature. When you reach 3rd level, you enhance your martial prowess with the ability to cast spells. You learn 2 cantrips from the Arcane Circle. That's up ahead. The usual spellcasting ability applies. Your first step on the path of the Spellblade is learning how to imbue weapons with your magical power. If you spend 1 hour of uninterrupted focus in contact with a weapon, you can imbue the weapon with a limited force of enchantment. It basically gives you a +1 to attack and damage from magic that you've imbued in it. Whenever you gain a new talent, you can select that talent from the martial or the magic talent list. At 7th, when you use multi-attack, you can replace one of those attacks by casting a cantrip. I like that. Weapon Master. Most fighters feel a deep connection with their weapon. Warriors who pursue the Weapon Master discipline learn to utilise their chosen arms with efficiency and artistry. So 3rd level Mastery. Choose 3 simple or martial weapons with which you have proficiency. You have mastered the use of those 3 weapons. Once per turn, when you roll damage for this, you can re-roll one of the weapon's damage dice and use either result. I like it. I don't know whether DMs would. Stunts. You can perform stunts now. Equal to your proficiency bonus +1. Let's look at what these stunts are. Arcing Strike requires a 2-handed weapon that deals slashing damage. When you successfully hit, you can also deal an additional half that amount to a different target, like that's good. Cheap Shot. Oh, these are all 1 point, cost 1 point as well. When you successfully hit a target with a melee weapon, you can immediately make an unarmed strike by punching in the face. I like it. When you successfully hit, you can choose to forego dealing damage and instead reduce the target's movement. You can't make additional attacks as part of the attack action. When you take the attack action, you can make a single attack with a +10 to the attack roll, but then that's it. Parry. Use your reaction to reduce the damage by a d10 plus your proficiency bonus. A reaction to hit back, run through, deal an additional half the amount of damage to a different target, move to an unoccupied space. It doesn't count against the normal amount of movement. Sweep the leg. When you hit a creature, you attempt to knock the target prone. And Deadly Flourish. Weapon attacks made with this weapon crit on a 19 as well. Yes, little buffs that are interesting. Wizards now, having been through this already, fairly standard stuff, unless you can spot some progression that I may have missed. What's in this section is more the rituals that are new. So, ritual casting. As a wizard, you have access to a special type of long-form spell called a ritual. You don't need to prepare ritual spells to cast them. At level 1, choose 2 rituals from the Arcane Circle ritual list. Each ritual spell must be of a ring for which you have the spell slots. It will make sense in a second. They've just changed the wording of things you already understand. Rings as in levels of spell. 1st level to 9th or whatever. So you have learnt to regain some of the magical energy by studying your spell book. Once a day, you can choose expended spell slots to recover. The spell slots have to add up equal to or less than half your wizard level rounded up. And none of the recovered slots can be from the 6th ring or higher. As an action, you can open your awareness to detect magical forces. Improvement. Increase something by 1. Now, Arcane Traditions. Battle Mage. Starting when you select this tradition at 3rd level, Whenever your wizard level would grant you an improvement and you choose to gain a new talent, you can select a talent from the martial or the magical list. You can redirect a portion of your spellcasting energy into a defensive shield. I do like this. While the ward is active, you gain a bonus to your AC equal to your proficiency bonus. You have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing and slashing damage. So you cast a spell and immediately you get a +2 shield around your magic body. It's mage armour in a sense, but just happens to do with your spell casting. Tactical caster, yeah, you do an area of effect and you can choose who not to hit. When you fail to spell a creature, you can then say, okay, I target that instead. Don't really like that. But you get to make a new spell attack for that new target. It's a reaction, I should specify, so it's not like you're going to do it all the time. Arcane Alacrity. Whenever you cast an arcane cantrip that has one action as its casting time, you can change it to a bonus action, equal number of times to your proficiency bonus. Cantrip Polymath, you gain 2 cantrips of your choice. Potent spellcasting, you add your proficiency bonus to the damage roll of any cantrip. Talents we touched on in the last video, and I think they're just making it clearer. Talked about tweaks in the way it was written. Magic talents. Through rigorous mental exercise, you have fortified yourself against mind-altering effects. Once per long rest, when you fail an int, whiz or charisma save, you can choose to re-roll the save and take the new result. You must declare your intention to re-roll after you've learned that you failed, but before the GM starts rolling out the consequences. If you are affected by an ongoing spell or magic effect that only targets you due to failing a int, whiz, char save, you can repeat the save at the end of each of your turns, even if the ongoing magical effect would not typically allow you to do that. That is the Mental Fortitude talent. Mental Prowess. Increase your charisma, intelligence or wisdom by 1. You can't raise it above 20, but you can select this magical talent. You can select this talent multiple times. Ritualist. Your study of magic has unlocked the mysteries of ritual spells. When you gain this talent, you can also gain a ritual book, which contains the rituals you know. To cast a ritual spell, you have to have the ritual book in your hand. You choose one of the circles, one of the 4 magical circles, and when you first gain your ritual book, add 1 ritual of each spell ring you have already unlocked via your spellcasting class. For example, a bard that selects this talent at 4th level has spell slots for the 1st ring and 2nd ring, so they would add 1 1st ring ritual and 1 2nd ring ritual to their book. School Specialization. Choose one of the 8 schools of magic. Whenever you cast a spell from the school that requires you to make an attack roll, you add a 1. Whenever you cast a spell that requires a save versus your spell save DC, a save versus your spell save DC, the DC increases by 1. Martial talents. Hand-to-hand, wrestling, boxing, martial arts. You are proficient with unarmed strikes. Your unarmed strikes deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength, rather than, I think it was just 1 plus your strength mod before. You have advantage on ability checks made to initiate or escape a grapple. Technical talents affect features that are not strictly tied to combat. Tough of luck. You've cultivated a knack for making the best of a bad situation. Whenever you would gain a luck point as a result of failing an attack roll or a save, you instead gain 2 luck points. And now, as we've learnt, you can add those to the failed die rolls of other attacks and things. If you're 5 luck points and you would get more, you re-roll your luck points. I don't like that. So here's the explanation of spells. All magic requires energy. The 4 circles of magic represent the 4 primary sources that fuel the abilities of spellcasters. The arcane circle draws its power from the manipulation of measurable forces including heat, space, gravity. Conversion. The spell suppresses, ends, or otherwise interacts with mechanical aspects of spellcasting. Here are like the first level, second level, third level. That's the ring situation. You got so Arcane Circle, Divine Circle, Weird Circle, and Primordial Circle are split up because Arcane Circle is like acid, cold, fire, lightning, thunder. Divine is necrotic or radiant. Primordial, plants, beasts. You know, these should be ringing some bells from 5e. Every spell is categorised into a ring that is labelled from 1st to 9th. Like the trunk of a tree, the rings of magic encircle one another. So if you've got a 9th ring, you've obviously got 8th, 7th, 6th, down to 1. It's just spell levels. Goes through the schools of magic. Prepared spells, cantrips, rituals. Ritual spells are uniquely powerful magic that take 1 minute, not 10 minutes, to cast. There is nothing else that jumps out as abnormal. I'm not gonna bother you with any more of that. So, what do you think about that? Are you excited? Does it make sense? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.